Carlton Cullins here in South Austin, Texas, and welcome to Blue Sky Strongbox. This video is going to start the second part of my foundation series. So it's 2018 now. I started the other series in 2017, the end of 2017. There's 3 videos in that first series. The first one, I wanted you to identify what is it that you want. What is your goal and why do you want it? Secondly, we needed to figure out what obstacles may stand in your way. They may have been things that you're aware of, things that you weren't aware of. We need to figure out what those are, so we did some screening. The third video, we tried to figure out what category you're going to be in. Most people are going to fall in one of 3 categories, and you may fall a little bit into all of them. You may want all 3. But most people are going to either be, they're trying to lose a lot of body fat, or you're trying to stay where you're at, you're just trying to improve your general health, or lastly, you're trying to actually gain weight or gain muscle. Those are the 3 big categories. There is a 4th category that I would put in, a performance category. Maybe you're an athlete or you've got a job or something that you need to accomplish certain tasks and you need to train for those. But those are the major categories. Now, all these videos I've done in the past are free. There's a lot of information on them. They're really good videos. I encourage you to go back and watch them. It's really important. You can find them on my Blue Sky Strongbox website. You can find them on my Carlton Cullins YouTube page. I've got a Facebook page. They're free. Go out there, find them, watch them, take notes. But this should bring you to here today. Now, what I was going to do today is I was going to talk about specifics with all those different categories that we're trying to fit you in. But honestly, I don't really want to do that. I really want to talk about principles today. I want to talk about 10 important principles, things that I've found in my own life to be very important. I've worked a lot with clients for 15 years, things that I think you need to get in order before you start worrying about all these little small details. Because even though it's something like fat loss and weight gain, muscle gain seem like they're completely at other ends, 2 ends of the spectrum, they actually have a lot in common. There is a foundation that is important to all goals regardless of what they are. That's what I want to talk about today. So it's a lot of information. Grab a pen and paper and write this stuff down. Now, the main reason I want to talk about this stuff is because this stuff is for the long term. So much in the health and fitness industries now is fixated on these short-term goals. Short-term to me is very bothersome because that just means that you're going to try to fix something in 2 weeks, a month, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 months, a year, something, a short term. Life is long. Life is, for most of us, hopefully, will be decades long. So trying to fix something short term is not necessarily a good idea. There's nothing wrong with it. If you want to do that, that's fine. If you have specific questions, I want you to write me. I'm always here to help. But it's the long term. If you can focus on the long term, you won't have to keep fixing things over and over. Most people in their lifetime are going to gain weight and then try to lose weight. Gain weight, try to lose weight. Or people get strong and fit and then they get weak and out of shape. And they try to get back to that. And everybody's always trying to yo-yo up and down. Get something they had before, they lose it, they want it back again. It's constant up and down. None of it's really good. You could be consistent, but you need to work on a few things. You need to get a few things in order. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, these 10 things. Now, granted, these things that I'm going to talk about, you may be doing none of them, and it's okay. What I want you to do, if you're not doing any of these, or if you're doing a lot of them, but maybe not 1 or 2 of them, I want you to listen to all of them. Find the one that you're not doing. The one you know you're the furthest away from, that's the one you probably want to start with. That may be the hinge point. If you could fix that, it may help improve and get the ball rolling with everything else. So number 1 on the list is sleep. I can't say enough about sleep. Sleep is the foundation for everything. It's how the body repairs itself. It's how the mind repairs itself. I call it body repair, body recharge, mind defrag. It just gets everything in order. If you're not sleeping, you're not getting enough sleep, you don't feel rested when you wake up, you're having to use caffeine, a drug, to get you through living and being awake, that's a problem. Sleep is very important. They say that no matter what, I used to work graveyard shifts for 10 years, but some people work graveyard shifts or the late night shifts all their life. Even if you worked it for 50 years, they say no matter what, it'll take 1 million more years to hardwire and change our DNA. And what I'm trying to say is our DNA, no matter who you are, no matter where you're at, no matter what work schedule you work, we are designed to get up when the sun rises. Now, the sun rises in Japan 15 hours than it does in Texas. So if you live in Japan, you need to be getting up with the sun there. I know this does not sound fun for most people, getting up when the sun gets up, but our bodies are hardwired that way. When you don't, it causes problems with sleep. Most people don't get enough sleep. So most people are trying to find other ways to keep them awake, and a lot of that has to rely on things like caffeine. But caffeine is not something that is fed to infants for a reason. Our bodies don't need caffeine. We just develop a habit of wanting it, of being addicted to it. So I'm not trying to harp on anybody necessarily who drinks coffee. That's fine. 1 glass a day, maybe 2 for some people, may be okay. But sleep is important. It's a priority. It's the thing that I was going to recommend you start off first, because I think most people do not get enough sleep, and I think that's the cause of so many problems, from fat loss to disease to if you're somebody who's trying to gain weight or get better at a sport. Sleep is essential. Okay, that's my rant. Moving on to number 2. Number 2 is having a morning ritual. I'm going to talk about a morning ritual that I do, but it could be a lot of different things. The key is you take 5 minutes of your morning before you go to work, before you do just about anything. This means you may have to wake up again early, before your kids, before your pets, whatever. But you have a morning ritual before you get going into your day that you do something to take care of yourself. I highly recommend doing some type of body weight stretching and flowing. I do a 5-minute flow that I've got videos of. I'm going to do another extensive video on in the future. And basically all I'm doing is in the morning is I'm moving my body through a full range of motion, trying to wake it up while I'm deep breathing. And while I'm deep breathing, I'm not doing anything else but basically concentrating on this. The act of concentrating on something like breathing and moving your body is a form of meditation. So in other words, the morning ritual is almost basically like a movement, spiritual, emotional meditation that's going to get you ready for the day, and you're going to decide what you want out of your life that day. I know it sounds crazy. Most people are not going to understand this until you start doing it for a year or two. But I promise you, if you get up every day and you take 5 minutes to yourself, it could be amazing. It could be going for a walk. It could be listening to one song and you just sitting there resting with your eyes closed, breathing. But try something. I've got a lot of tips. If you have any questions about that, write me. Number 3 is walking and moving more every day throughout the entire day, not just right here and not just right here. I know some of us have jobs that won't allow this. You're busy. I get that. But walking as much as you can. There is no magical how many steps you should take a day. I would just say maybe use your phone or a pedometer, figure out how many steps you take currently, and try to work to increase that. You don't need to go crazy and try to walk 100,000 steps a day. That's not the purpose. The purpose is just, as a human, we need to walk every day until our lives are done. Every single day. There's no better exercise than walking. No better exercise. I would honestly say my favorite exercise and the best exercise I think for most people is walking up and down hills. But that's a whole nother conversation. The point is, walk more and move more as much as you can, as much as possible every single day. Number 4 is going to be exercise. And you can see exercise, I didn't say walking is exercise. Walking is walking. Walking is moving. Walking is earning the right to have your body and being thankful for the body that you've been given. But number 4, exercise is more specific. Exercise is you actually have a plan. You're going to do something. Now, granted, in my experience as a trainer, I've seen it all my life. People that are strong, they tend to lift weights and that's all they do. People that aren't strong, they tend to try to do a lot of cardio, they run, or they maybe do yoga. They do something that can make them look good. Everybody does things that they're good at. And the point is, you need to do things you're not good at, and you need to have balance with everything that you're doing. And the big 3 for me are, you need to have enough flexibility. You need to be able to move reasonably well. You need to have a basic good level of strength, nothing fancy, nothing crazy, but just a good level of strength, and you need to have a good stamina. Good stamina. The balance between all those 3 things, you could do anything. You could do anything. I don't care, but just do something. Exercise consistently and regularly every week. You've got a plan on what you do. It doesn't have to be a lot. I would even urge that you don't do a lot. I would say just do a little bit every single day. But number 5, we're moving on. Trying to find peace within. I know this sounds very vague and very abstract, but peace within. Balance in your life. You need balance throughout your entire life. At the end of your life, you should be able to look back over it, whoever's doing your thing, and say, oh man, they had good balance in all the areas of their life, because that's the key, I think, to longevity. So that means you need to work hard. Yes, we all have to work hard and earn the right to play hard. And play being fun. We need to have more fun. We need to get away from technology more. We need to separate ourselves from all these distractions. We need to be, I think, get out in nature more. Appreciate the natural world. Have a little bit of solitude. We all need alone time. All of us need alone time, even if it's 5 minutes a day. That 5 minutes could be your morning ritual that I talked about, number 2. You need to be somewhat social. You know, some people, you don't need a lot of friends. You only need maybe one good friend. You need to spend time with yourself, spend time with a friend, family members. If you've got a lot of people, that's great. Use it to your advantage. It's really important to have a social network. You need to laugh. You need to love. You need to be creative and get inspired and do things that are inspiring. And at the very end, I would say you need to be in touch with some type of spirituality, whatever you want to call that. It doesn't have to be religious. I'm not religious. Spiritual just means you have made peace within. It's really important. It's important for our overall health and longevity and our attitudes. And attitude is everything. So number 6 is going to be water. Drinking plenty of water. I can't say enough about water, but all I know is every morning when you wake up, the first thing you should drink is a big glass of water to get the plumbing going, to get water in your system. I don't like to drink that close to time I want to go to sleep because I don't want to be up all night peeing. But I drink enough water in the daytime that when I do pee, my urine is mostly clear or lightly colored yellow. If it's brown, if it's dark yellow, if it's any other color, it's wrong. You need to have enough water in you, and everybody's different. Every day's different. Every season's different. So really important. Drinking water is essential to life. So drink more of it and drink less of everything else. Number 7, eat more veggies, more plants, a plant-based diet. I'm not saying don't eat meat. I'm not saying don't eat anything. I'm just saying eat more vegetables. More vegetables, more plants are going to improve your health. There's no debating over it. People ask me all the time what to eat or what can they eat or what not to eat. I focus on what you should be eating more of, and that is a plant-based diet with a lot more vegetables. Number 8, eat better quality food overall. That means less fast food for sure, less processed food, less going out to eat. Simple things, but less crap, more variety, more colors, foods that are in season. All this stuff is so important. You need to eat better foods. All of us need to eat better foods over time. It doesn't mean you have to spend a lot of money. You can eat at Walmart and still eat better choices. But the better quality of food is going to make a huge difference. I would say overall you want balance. You know, you don't want to eat all vegetables and nothing else. You need protein and you need fats and you need all this stuff. I'm not a big fan of demonizing any carbohydrate or eating, demonizing fat or demonizing protein. I think there needs to be a balance of it all. I think you need to eat from a variety of sources. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple. Number 9, eat less food overall. Unless you've got a job, you're saying you're military, law enforcement, you're an athlete, a professional athlete especially, you're an endurance athlete, or just for whatever reason you're trying to gain muscle, maybe you're a bodybuilder, you're going to have to eat quite a bit of food. There's no getting around that. But for all the rest of us that just want to maybe improve our health, for people who want to eat or want to lose some body fat, I think it's important to try to eat a little bit less food. I'm not saying a lot of food. I'm not a big fan of, say you eat 5,000 calories a day, you go down to eating 1,200 calories. It's very dangerous. You don't want to adjust your calories down so far, so quickly. That's a recipe for your body to hate you, and it will get sick. I'm recommending just eating a little bit less. The best strategy I've found is to go longer between meals. I try to go, I don't usually count it, but 4, 5, 6, 7 hours between meals. I'm a big fan of eating no more than 3 meals a day, 3 squares. On the days I'm not real active, the days that I'm not working, that I'm maybe sitting around a little bit more, I try to only eat 2 times a day. And I used to eat 5 or 6 times a day, and I was always hungry. And when everybody else was like, fine, I was like, man, y'all aren't hungry? I'm hungry. I gotta eat. I gotta get some protein. I did that because that's how I ate for years, and my body was used to that. I took a year, and I started going longer between meals. I started drinking water with my meal, or between meals and not with my meals. And so when I got hungry between meals, I would drink water and it helped satisfy that. I was hungry a lot, but after a few, probably a few weeks, few months, my body got used to it. Now I can go 2 times a day and eat, and I'm fine. And I haven't lost any muscle. I'm gonna be 44 this year. Supposedly, by doing this, I'm supposed to be withered away, but none of that's happened. So I think going longer between meals, when I do eat, I eat quite a bit, but I'm only eating 2-3 times a day versus 5 or 6 or 7, what a lot of times they recommend for fat loss and muscle gain. So depending on your goals, depending on a lot of things, but give that some thought. I think it's huge. They say that the human beings that eat less food overall are typically the people that live the longest. So something to think about, Google that. The last one is the KISS principle. K-I-S-S. Keep it simple, stupid. Have a daily focus. Don't make things too complicated. All these things I've talked about today, only focus on working on one thing until you get that good and then move on to something else. Work on the things that you're not good at. Make lists. Keep the focus. Don't make anything complicated. So I got a lot of stuff I've talked about today. Write this stuff down. Look at it. Which one do you think you could apply? Which one do you think you could do and do well? Which one do you think you don't do at all? Those are the things that you probably need to work on first. But these are principles. These are principles. I'm not talking about small details. I'm talking about principles. Things that if you get all these right going, then if you want to tweak things a little bit more, then we can talk about specific details. Then you're ready. But getting these type of things on point, it's crucial to success. These things have worked for me. They work for a lot of people I know. I read constantly. I ask people constantly. I study things. I've done this stuff. I've been working as a personal trainer for 15 years. I've talked with a lot of people older than me, a lot smarter than me, that have a lot more experience than me. And these are the things that I've seen to be the most important for as we go on. Because everything we're doing is about longevity. Any goal that you want, even if you want it 2 weeks, you want to lose some body fat, gain some muscle, you want to do something really fast, don't you want it to stay around? If you don't want it to stay around, then it will go away and you'll have to come back and get it again. I can guarantee you, as time goes on, as you get older, it's harder to keep getting these things back. Why not get it and keep it in the first place? And the only way to do that is to start slowly but surely, master the basics, the fundamentals, principles. Principle-based living. This is it. Simple. I'm not perfect by any means, and I don't recommend anybody try to be perfect. Just try to be more better than you are not. Okay, I blabbed enough. If you have any questions, write me. I'm always here to help, and I wish everybody the best.